everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are. My name is Matt. I am just one of many from the Terrible People podcast. How are you doing today? All right. Well, this might be kind of uncomfortable, especially considering how we have an amazing French actor who goes by the name of Jussie Smollett. And we remember that infamous beating he took early 2019, which derailed Black History Month. And you would have thought it would have been derailed forever. Now, full disclosure, I believed him initially. I was of the whole thought process. Trump supporters are inherently racist. They're all trash. I bought all the way into everything that MSNBC and CNN has said, including Don Lemon, right? You know, super zesty God. Okay. I bought all the info from Joyless Reed, and then 2020 happened. And I'm glad because, we all got to see other people that weren't us. What they call them, the silent majority. We got to see them actually show their ass, and it was so good to see. It was so good to see white people act crazy, right? But then, because, you people are never to be outdone at all. And then you decided to take your rage out on Target and AutoZone. Listening to, well, it wasn't quite out then, but y'all was listening to the early demo versions of They Not Like Us. Pew, 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 pew. Wah, 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 wah. It's terrible. It's so terrible. But the main point is this, right? I had a conversation, as some of you people might know, because you chose to get out of Blackistan, right? And you opted to vote a different way, which is shocking because these people are the most tolerant. There's 7,000 genders, infinite pronouns. But if you go against their programming, you can tuck it back in between your legs and you could be anything. I identify as a transracial child, okay? So I want to be 14 again. Just so I can participate and do everything on easy mode, right? And this is what these people actually believe in. And the course correction that is happening as of right now is shocking to people. And I'm not trying to be rude or facetious when I do say these things, but because I did choose to go the other way, I chose to be informed and I voted for what mattered to me. And that's why I ended up going the way of Brother Trump. Because I saw the things that were absolutely not working as a result of the last 4 years. Like pretty much as soon as 2022 got here, me and my friends were all having this conversation. 2023, I was like, yo, bro, what is this? Right? And I think all of 2024, with everything that happened, that actually cemented it to me, right? It was now carved in stone. It was right up there with the 10 Commandments that Moses had, right? This shit was not working. And I did. And I'm not one of these people up here saying I have any kind of buyer's remorse, because I think the things that are going on are a culmination, and it's all cumulative of the last administration. And I think just now we're starting to see how bad things were and how off we have been for a very long time. So, again, when people find out that you did vote for the other people and you weren't part of the, the sassy squad, the people who listen to their girls and their wives, all right? Or just listen to regular programming, which is, we all know what that is. That's the media. And you decided to go a different way. People now always ask, hey man, what do you think about this? I'm like, are you sure you really want to ask me? I mean, because if you're trying to be facetious, I mean that's fine. But if you want to get your feelings hurt, that's also fine, because I got time, and I try my best not to be a dick to people, because I do know that this is, how can you say this politely? This is the equivalent of you finding out that your father isn't your father. And some of you motherfuckers actually do know that shit. I mean, that's why people were protesting the Freaknik documentary, because y'all mamas was hoes. But anyways, I digress, right? So, people, I don't know if it's like a morbid curiosity, like people treat you like you're some kind of zoo animal. It's very, I'm not sure I can accurately put it into words, but the one thing that I do know is that, I mean, for better or worse, I'm comfortable and I'm confident with what it is that I decided. And in the short form, I 100% agree with everything that is, almost everything that's going on. I have to say it's in the 90s, which I'm okay with. I like how things have been going on thus far, right? I am not the one complaining. But the people who are complaining are citing things that I'm sorry, I'm having a very hard time wrapping my head around some of these things that people have said, because it is not a world that I have ever existed in. And I think if a lot of people are being honest, I don't think most people have, right? And what I'm talking about is this experience of racism, like it's, the early 1920s, right? And I'm not denying that racism is not a thing. It's very much a thing, and it has terrible and tragic outcomes. It's really sickening, right? It really, truly is sickening, and it's very sad. However, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure we're the ones who's actually experiencing it. And that's why I titled the show tonight the way I did, because how much of this is your experience, right? Because, again, today I was speaking with, and, just to be fair, a more advanced elderly gentleman today, in his 70s, right? And, we were just talking, and I mean, again, because you voted for who you voted for. Hey man, how you like what your daddy's homie is out there doing? Okay. And I told him the very same thing, but then somehow it always goes back into racism and all these other things that if you're born with an 8 in front, after that 198, I think it's different. And this is where, when people talk about the DEI being rebranded because it was affirmative action, see, these programs were once needed, right? They absolutely were needed right after the civil rights movement in the 60s. And it probably hasn't been needed by the time us millennials, I am 41. See that? See that little fuzz right there? It's gray. Okay? I have never experienced that level of anything. I've heard these tall tales and things like that, and I'm not saying that I haven't experienced anything ever, but did I ever experience the Mississippi burning style of racism? No. And I don't think most people who were born anytime in the 1980s and thereafter, I don't think they really experienced it. But this guy was hell bent on telling me how bad it is in Texas. And you have no idea, and this and that. And I mean, I just listened. I'm just like, well, okay. I said, hey, I just had to ask, like, how do you interact with the rest of the world, right? If it's always through this lens of racism and things like that, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And maybe it's something different because I was privileged. I grew up in Michigan, and most of us are super mixed. It's not like that. A lot of us have white grandmothers, right? Maybe it's just different. I mean, specifically Grand Rapids, I mean, there was something different. I mean, you always got you always have the I'm black, y'all, because I'm black, y'all. I'm bliggity black because I'm black, y'all. And that's cool. And I get it. I get it. I'm not sitting here getting on anybody about it, but my whole point is, when is it that you're going to stop? Like, stop solely identifying with everything that has been placed before you just because, right? I mean, just because. I mean, in the world of infinite possibilities that these people have socially engineered for you, why is it that you are still trauma bonding over things that haven't happened to you? Right? Things that probably won't ever happen to you. I'm having a hard time here. And I think the more you listen to people, the more disheartened you get, right? I don't think the new war is race. I think the new war is going to be class. But you have people who are in elected positions, and they say the most egregious things. And if we were to take down, if we were to just use somebody, let's just say Jasmine Crockett, if we were to replace that with a white woman or a white man, the way that she's talking, I don't think y'all would be happy, right? And that's the whole thing. Like, look, I get it. There was a time, Rosewood, Tulsa, things like that. However, things are just different now. We need everybody else. That was a time in history, and it's never going back. And the best part is if people are so upset with what's going on here, you're free to leave. That's the best part. Like, you are seriously free to go to Africa. I dare you, Negroes, right? Go to Africa and see exactly how them people treat you. Because yes, surface level, you're black, right? Surface level, you look the part. However, where you're gonna get your feelings hurt is it's a culture. We are too goddamn uncultured. We are a collection of individuals, and the only thing, if we remove your past, right? If you remove the past from the person, who are you? I know who I am. I'm competent, right? I am a competent human being who's able to execute almost anything within my knowledge base, right? And the things that I don't know, I need to obviously be taught. But I don't need to lean into, well, my qualifiers first. As a black, as a this, as a zesty. That doesn't matter. Most people, bro, we don't care. And that's the thing that's even more disheartening. The people from the 80s. I'm as old as MTV, right? MTV, crack, maybe not so much. Maybe that's not the one that you want to claim. But still, you get where it is that I'm saying, right? How is it that, you want to celebrate all these amazing accomplishments, but when things don't go your way, it's because of this. It's white supremacy. Aaron McGruder said it best. White people don't care no more, bro. They really don't. And he said that shit in 2003. He said that at a conference, and people really did not understand what it was that he was saying. But it doesn't mean that he was wrong. 100% he was fucking right. And that's just the whole thing. How much longer are people going to invest themselves in a history, right? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't learn it, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't know it, but how much longer are you willing to invest yourself in something like it just happened last week? These things have not happened last week. Emmett Till did not happen last week, right? All these things, those 4 little girls who were bombed at that church, those are acts of terrorism. Yes, that was motivated by racism. That's not even being disputed. Not even being disputed. But you Negroes today, come on, man. Come on. What are we absolutely talking about? And why are we still talking about it? It's sad. And this is ultimately probably why the culture is cooked. You know what I mean? You don't even know what it is that you want anymore. You're just upset, right? Everything is racism. Donald Trump getting elected, that was racism. No, it wasn't. It wasn't people hated the make-believe Indian black girl. No, that wasn't it either. People are just upset with the craziness that people have allowed to happen because they solely rely on being triggered by their emotions. Everything is a flash and a trigger point. And that's why people are tired. That's why people are tired. That's why I can't wait. I cannot wait to go to Target and I ain't got to see no more hood rats there. Oh my God, can you believe it? I'm going to be out there picking up my overpriced goods. Y'all doing this? Target? I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't want to get too long-winded in this. Hey, you know what? It's been decent talking with y'all tonight. Just think about it. Stop leaning into shit that ain't got nothing to do with you, homie. Serious. If you were born 1980 and up, yes, we have experienced racism. It pales in comparison, right, to what our grandparents and the people who came before us, it pales in comparison to anything it is that they've been through. And I think if we keep playing this game, obviously people don't believe you anyways. And number two, racism, the word itself, loses all its meaning, because the only thing that you do is when you don't get your way, you cry wolf. Racism. I got fired at my job. Why? Well, I walked in and, I have this problem. And I just, sometimes I just sit in my car and I puff a little bit and then I go in. No, I'm good and goddamn well you get drug tested. So they smelled it. Imagine, Jesus Christ, the nerve of these people. Oh my God, racism destroyed my life. Nah, nigga, that was probably just you, right? But this is all the time where we're going to get, guys, right? You're either going to rise to the occasion or you're going to get left behind. And unfortunately, I see a lot of people who will ultimately be left behind. Choice is yours. Stop leaning into the history that does not serve you. Remember it as a reminder and make the most of everything that it is that you've been given. These people gave us our rights. And look what you niggas do.